Hello, and welcome to the Form a Day Challenge by clevr. My name is Kareem Cooperhouse, and every day for 30 days, I'm showcasing a form that we've automated using the clevr platform. Today is day 4. I'll be showcasing a student incident report form. And what's interesting about this form is not so much the form itself, but how it encompasses an entire process, and we were able to bring in other forms into the process and put it all under one initiative within the clevr platform. So let me show you what I mean by that. So here's the form. The student incident form from the district, and there's a lot of open space, free form to describe the incident in question, to talk about where it occurred, what did it look like, whether there was any damage, what the responses were, both from staff and from students. Of course, to describe the injury, if there were any, to staff members, and then, of course, if there was, then to kick out an employee incident report. And there's some follow-up here in terms of signatures and approvals and so on. But this process of a student incident report kicks off other processes. The next one is a workplace risk assessment. And so what happens is that the student incident report is undertaken, and then they start looking at the workplace to see if there's any risks associated. So that's another form associated with the student incident report. And then based on that, there's a safety plan that gets put in place. And so this is another form. And so what we did using the clevr platform is to take all of these 3 different forms and bring them into one process. But before we did that, we sat down with the district and looked at their flowchart in terms of the workflow of these processes. So we spent a lot of time going through this, and this allowed us to incorporate the different processes into the clevr platform. So here's clevr. Let's scroll down to the form that is right here. And as an administrator or a teacher or a principal, I would have access to all the students under my care. So let's click on Paul over here. And you can see here that what we've done is that we've separated the form into 2 sections, the general information and the incident details. So that's the student incident report. But notice that the workplace risk assessment is over here, and the safety plan, right, is over here. And so what we've done is we've incorporated all 3 of these different forms into one master form. So as I log in, I populate some of this information. Of course, much of this information get pre-populated by your student information system. I'm in a demo sandbox, so obviously there's no integration going on right now, but all of this could easily get pre-populated by your student information system. So as I hover over to the incident details, this is essentially the same form that you saw over here, but now it's been digitized. And so all free form here. I can go and describe all of these different areas and then move down. And there are some checkboxes here in order to capture some information. And what's powerful about the clevr platform is that every single field in a clevr form can become a searchable field. So if I wanted to do a search at the end of the school year and say, how many times did we use restraints or how many times did we use seclusion, I'd be able to pull that up. So the sandbox here, the approval process here, or the workflows that I have to sign off on it. Once that's done, notification goes over to the principal. Principal will be able to log in and then sign off on it as well. Now, I'm in here as a super administrator. That's why I see both. But normally, as a staff member, I would only see this section over here. Once that's done, I can then move over to the workplace risk assessment. Again, there's some free form here, but then some of these sections here need to be checked off, some dates indicated. And then here, this is for this section over here. So if I come down, and you'll notice that there are 2 sections over here based on whether the incident was intensive or severe, or in terms of frequency and likelihood. So if I scroll over here, you can see that I can drop down, indicate which one of these is accurate. Same thing over here. And then based on that information, I can determine whether or not this student represents a risk towards others, or if not. Again, I apply my signature and it kicks out to the principal. Finally is a safety plan. Now the safety plan is broken up into 3 subtabs. So you can see here that we start with an overview. We're putting in some codes that are associated with these types of incidents. Who was a classroom teacher? Who developed the plan? And then we move over and notice that there's a lot of explanations here for those who are completing this form. A safety plan, I can indicate all of the key understandings. If 2 isn't enough, I just click the add button, add a third one. If I don't want that, I just take it off. Safety concerns, same thing again. And then student settings. So you can see there's lots of information being gathered here. And you have to remember this is all searchable. So on a periodic basis, I can go in and search for all this information and pull it up. And so this was the student incident report. And really what I wanted to showcase is not so much the form in and of itself, but our ability to bring in other forms that are part of a process and consolidate them all into one huge master form. I hope you enjoyed this demo. Stay tuned tomorrow for the next clevr Form a Day Challenge demo.